Hey guys, this is a quick kickoff on the weight shift assignment. You'll want to download the weight shift project directory, and inside that folder you'll find the assets folder, which will have our regular stuff, our light rig, our camera, our stage, our rigs. There's also an additional folder here called weight shift videos. So in here are several videos that I shot out of my kids doing reference for a weight shift. So here's an example. So you can choose to use these videos if you want to. However, I recommend that you shoot out or find your own reference for your weight shift project. What you'll want to do is put your weight shift reference on an image plane in your camera window. And I will show you how to do that briefly. So that's the assets directory. Inside the scenes folder, you'll see that I have created a setup file for you. You'll want to start with this file. So you'll want to open up this weight shift setup scene file and immediately rename it to weight shift Annam and then your name, similar to how I have it listed right here where it says weight shift Annam Gale, and then I have version 01. So do the same, and then that way when you turn your scene files in, I'll know whose work it is. Okay. I've also put in here several iterations of myself doing demos of the weight shift. So you are more than welcome to open up these files and see how I am organizing things. And hopefully it will help you with your process. So let's go to the weight shift setup file first. It says errors have occurred. This is okay, don't worry about it. I'm going to go to my Animation 2 layout, which has my graph editor on the bottom, and then I will change one of my cameras up here to the camera window and another one to a random perspective window. Actually, I think I used cam main 1 in this example, yes. And then over here, I'm just going to go to perspective window. This is where I will actually be manipulating my character. So what I like to do is take the stage, see how I've selected right now. I'm going to make a layer out of it. Call this stage. You always want to label your layers, your display layers, and I'm going to change it to reference only. Now I cannot select it. In the window that you will be manipulating your character, I'm going to hit 6. 7 will turn on the textures, the lights, and if we press this button, we'll get the shadows too. Okay. Because I'm manipulating my character over here, I don't need controllers. I want to have NURBS curves and polygons displayed. I always check on strokes in case I want to use my BH Ghost plugin, but I pretty much turn everything else off. In the window that we'll be shooting our play blast from, I will always tear this off. And I don't have anything on except my image plane, my polygons, and strokes. Okay, so now that I've got my file set up, I'm going to hit my mask button up here. Remember, our mask changes our selection mask. Sometimes it's hidden like that. So you can click that tiny little arrow and it will open up the selection masks, and you can turn everything off. Click on just curves, save that to the shelf, so then you have a button which will get you to that point pretty fast. And it's useful because really that's all we want to set keys on and manipulate. So now that we have this set up, I'm going to go Save scene as. I'm going to save it as weight shift anim Gale demo. Okay, so now I'm ready to go ahead and shoot my stuff. So let's say the first thing you want to do is create an image plane. So I'm going to come up here to View, Image Plane, Image Plane Attributes, select this. I'm going to delete it. Okay, so let me show you how you can add your own image plane. So in your camera view where you want to have your image plane, we're going to go to View, Image Plane, Import Movie. From there, I already set my project, so I'm going to go to Assets, Weight Shift Videos. They're all grayed out. If you go down here and you say All Files, you'll be able to select the video that you want to use. Now, as you can see, it's too large and it's covering our character, so there's some adjustments we can make to the image plane, which will make it so that you can sort of put it in the background and see your character at the same time. The first one here, if you've got the attribute editor open, is to adjust the depth. So I'm going to switch this to like 500. Oh, it's going to be a little bit farther back. Let's make it 1,000. And now it's behind our character, but it's still really large. So I'm going to go to our channel box over here. Click on that. I'm going to select the size X and Y on the left side here where I'm highlighting it in blue, and I'm using my left mouse button. Now I'm going to move my cursor, so that it's inside one of these windows. The focus is over here. I'm going to hit Shift and my middle mouse button, and I'm just going to drag it to the side. And oh, it's going really way too fast. This is a problem sometimes. Oh, I can adjust the depth here too, which is great. So I'm going to hit these two again with my left mouse button. I bring my cursor focus into this window. I'm going to hit Control and Shift at the same time, and now my middle mouse button, I'm holding it down, and now see I have much finer control over it. This is with Shift and Control and middle mouse button, just dragging it side to side to change the size of my image plane. Now I'm going to select Offset X. Again, I'm going to hit the middle mouse button, Control and Shift. The focus is in this window. I'm going to slide it over. I'm going to hit Offset Y, Control Shift, middle mouse button. I'm sliding it side to side, but now it's moving up in Y. So there I've got my image plane positioned in a nice place so it's not covering anything, and I can see the action clearly. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the attribute editor, and I'm going to, right now here in the attribute editor under display for our image plane, it says in all views, which means if I had image plane clicked on over here, it could potentially be in the way, right, when you're orbiting around and posing your character. So I always like to make my image plane just uniquely for that window. So I'm going to click on looking through camera. So because we attach this image plane to the cam main 1 on this window, it disappears from this window and isn't an issue. Okay, so that's something else that you guys can do to just make it easier for you to not have things in your way while you're posing your character. Okay, so when it comes time to posing your character, I'm going to open up the Anim School Picker. You do not need to use the Anim School Picker to do this assignment. I just like using it because I find selecting my controls easier to use this. if you are using the Anim School Picker, you notice I hit the select all and it didn't select anything. It's because we need to change the namespace on our character. So I'm going to go to Picker, change namespace. This is Tina, and I can tell because it says Tina right here. So I'm going to say OK. Now when I hit select all, it will select all the controls over here. So you can see I've already set a key at frame 1 and again at frame 96. So and I determined that from looking at my footage, like how long does it take my character to get. So for this one, since I've selected a new video, it really ends somewhere around frame 50. So I'm going to take this key, I'm going to hit W for translate. My focus is inside the graph editor. My cursor's over here. I'm going to hit Shift, the middle mouse button, and I'm going to drag it to the side. So now it goes to frame 50. So we don't need to animate all these frames according to this reference. So I'm going to change the frame range to 50. So now I've only got 50 frames. Okay, and I've got a key set on the beginning and the end. So even though wherever I manipulate the character, it should set a keyframe as long as I have auto key set. So let's make sure auto key's on, and it is. And I've got defaulting to auto tangents. We can change this to default to step key if you want to, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave it on auto. And I like weighted tangents. I recommend those. So I'm going to hit save. So now we're ready to start animating. So let's switch over to Sync Sketch, and I'll show you how to analyze where you want to have your keyframes.